Hello everyone, today we are attempting to make this dress right here. It is the Simplicity pattern number S9597, and instead of making it into the trousers, I will be making it just into like a full skirt. The fabric I will be using for this pattern is obviously this floral cream. It's like a cream color with like a bunch of different florals. I believe it was a bed sheet before because I thrifted it and it does have this detailing at the bottom that I don't know if I'm going to be using into this dress today, but we shall see. I already have the pattern pieces cut out. I hope that it turns out well. Also, I'm working out of my bedroom because I don't have any space in this apartment. I only have my bedroom. So we are manifesting a sewing studio in the future, but until that comes around, we shall be working from my bed. Okay, I'm gonna be starting off with the lining fabric, and I'm gonna be cutting the bodice piece front and back. And then also this pattern does have a sew along tutorials, so if you see me looking at my phone, that's what I'm looking at. It's the sewing tutorial, just because I'm like, this is new territory for me, so I want to make sure I do this correctly, whatever. So for the bodice lining, for the bodice, I need one of lining and one of the actual fabric, and then I have to cut on the fold. So let's do that.
Oh God, time.
As you can see, the edge won't be fraying, so that's why I like using those scissors, just because I don't have a serger at home to make that a clean finish. Okay, you guys, I think you're not gonna be able to see my head throughout some parts of the video. I hope that's okay. But I cut out all of my pieces. I didn't have enough fabric to do a double layer on the skirt, the bottom part of the skirt. So I only have a double layer on the top part of the skirt, and then the bottom part is just gonna be a little bit more see-through. I might go ahead and add a second layer later on once I find a scrap fabric, because I don't have any more scrap fabric that I can use for that double layer. For the bodice, I went ahead and marked where the darts are going to be, and I pinned them down together. So this is the lining. No, this is the front part, right? And then I also did the same thing for the lining. So now we're getting into the more interesting part, which is the actual sewing. So everything comes together.
And if I'm losing my mind, would you lose yours with me? You made me wanna melt.
So I sewed the bodice piece together with the backs, and I just realized, okay, let me just show you. I tried putting it over me just to see oh, it looks great. However, that is nowhere near it being able to close in the back. Oh my gosh, I think the pattern is too small. I made a pattern size 12, which US size 12, right? I know I am US size 12. And I even went on the seams and everything, I went a little bit smaller, 3/8 of an inch, close to less than 3/8 of an inch, when the pattern was asking for 5/8 of an inch for the seams. And even with that, it's still too small. And I'm like, okay, maybe I have the shirt on. So you know what, I'm not losing hope. I'm going to finish the pattern, the full dress, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, that it fits me. It might be a little snug, but I already went ahead and made the straps and I'm working on the other pieces. I have the yoke front pieces gathered already. So that's what this looks like, the front part of the yoke. I think what that means is just like the front part of the top part of the skirt. Let me show you. Like this part. So yeah, so I'm gonna finish it, fingers crossed that it fits at the end. But I'm really losing hope because it seems small, but whatever, we'll see how it turns out at the end. So let's do it. I got to the pockets part, already sewed them on, and now I'm just getting to the part where I'm connecting the front of the yoke to the back of the yoke. And I'm confused, but it's coming along. And then as you can see, I'm doing a double layer, which the video does not have. So I have the front, like the double layer, kind of like pinned at the top, so that's what that is. Because I don't want to, like, you know, sew the whole thing and then having to sew another one and then having to like put it on top of it, if that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway, it makes sense in my head, so let's just sew the pockets together. I think the thread is stuck. You know, this is the ugly parts of sewing that you just have to deal with, apparently. You can see I hate when this happens. The thread just gets bunched up at the bottom, and now you have to cut all of this off because it's just a big mess, but we shall prevail. My camera is dying, so let me go replace the battery and we'll see you when I'm done with the pockets. Alright guys, it is a couple days later. I had to go to work. So we are continuing with the pattern 9597, I believe. This is what I've got so far. I finished the yoke and then I finished the, well, working on the top. So I think last time I mentioned that the top was too small, and I was kind of panicking because I'm like, oh no, like I'm gonna have to make a new one. But I think what I'm going to do, this side of the back has some loops on it that we're going to be going over some buttons. I think what I'm gonna do, instead of doing buttons on this side that was going to be the enclosure for this top, I think I'm just going to go ahead and make another 5 loops on this side, and then I can just have it kind of be a corset back instead of a buttons back, like closure. And I think that's gonna give me more leeway also on like how adjustable I want the top to be.
It's hard to keep my cool, knowing I'm your man. So let's spend some time wasting it away. Your love is like music, you went to change the game. We're breaking all the rules.
Alright, so I cut out the other part for the loops. So I'm just gonna make a long string right now, turn it inside out, and then I'm gonna be cutting it to make it into the loops, and then I'll see you guys once I'm attaching them. This is how the loops look like pinned down, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stitch right there. Okay, so I went ahead and pinned the straps to the bodice, now that we have that, and then now I'm just gonna attach the bodice lining to the bodice, and then we're just gonna sew all around. Okay, so I have the bodice here pinned with the bodice lining, and I think I'm ready to start sewing it around, so I hope I don't mess this up.
I'm gonna miss you, wait to see you go. Wish time could just go slow. will truly dim my heart.
Alright everyone, so I finished attaching the bodice with the yoke, and I finished, well, semi-finished attaching the lining. As you can see, I have this pinned right here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just hand stitch that because I don't want the stitching to be showing in the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little like invisible stitch by hand just so that can be all together. But it's looking super nice. I'm so glad I made the loops in the back, because now I'm going to be able to adjust it however I want. So let me show you guys kind of like a little overview on how it's looking. Ow, I just stabbed myself. That hurt. Alright, so this is her. Ow, I keep stabbing myself. And this is how the back looks. As you can see, it's pretty like far off. So I'm gonna be making a string and then putting it through. This pin keeps poking me. But yeah, so you can see the front actually fits perfectly. The darts are actually very nice. So all I have left to do is attach the front pieces of the skirt together and the back pieces of the skirt together, and then attach this to the rest of the garment. So I think it's about time that I just do it off camera, and then we can just cut right into the little montage of the finished product.
In no time, we gon' be right back. Right by my side like a monkey on my back. It's been a ride and we know it near done. I guess you need the lows to know you're up.
Alright everyone, so that is the dress for today's video. It took a while to make. I think it took like the whole week because I had one full day of actual sewing, and then the rest of the week it was just like 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, like an hour here, an hour there, just to finish the whole sewing process. But I am obsessed with how the dress turned out. I'm really glad I was able to do the loops in the back to make it like a laced up back instead of a button enclosure. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me in this sewing journey, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! Also, you guys, my mom came with me to film in the park because I am a little social anxious, and you know, it's good to have some moral support when you're filming yourself in public. So yeah.